Hey everybody, it's Dr. Chacos with the Arthritis Solution, and today we are going to be discussing understanding the distinctions between gout, ankylosing spondylitis and other forms of arthritic or degenerative change. In the previous video I spoke about osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis, and they represent easily 85%, 90% of all the different forms of arthritis presentations, certainly in a chiropractic practice. And the reason we spent a video on just those alone is because that is the most common forms of arthritis. However, there are many forms of arthritis. In fact, there are over 100 different forms of arthritis. And probably the next most common after osteoarthritis being the number one, and then rheumatoid arthritis, is other forms of arthritis, including juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, which is rheumatoid arthritis in younger children, 2 years of age to 4 years of age commonly. But then there is also gout, and gout is commonly thought of as a big, sore, red toe. And once again, it has an autoimmune aspect to it, just like rheumatoid and juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, but it's normally localized to a specific joint. But it also is very different in that it has what are called uric acid crystals, and it presents differently, it presents specific to a located area, and it will x-ray differently as well. But once again, there's an immune system involvement, there's an inflammation involvement. It shows up in the body with redness, with swelling and with pain, and it's been linked very much to diet in particular, rich foods, altering the liver and the inflammatory processes of the body. So gout is a very significant form of arthritis, a common again form of arthritis, not as common as the other forms, but we certainly see it on a regular basis. And to be able to distinguish between them in terms of location, but the blood tests are the key aspect there, how their bloods show up and what type of changes are taking place in a person's blood to be indicative, and certainly the x-ray looks different as well. Ankylosing spondylitis, and also a similar aspect to ankylosing spondylitis, is called DISH, or diffuse idiopathic skeletal hyperostosis. These are all big words, and I don't want you to get too overwhelmed by them. It's not your job to remember the words or to learn the words, but to understand what's happening in your body. So these two different forms of arthritis is where the spine begins to go through fusing changes. The ligaments thicken and start to observe bone-like qualities. And so instead of having that natural mobility of your spine, they become really stiff, limited mobility and range of motion. And again, there's an autoimmune aspect, and it's diagnosed on x-ray because you can start to see that fusion taking place. And Ankspon versus DISH, it's just different points of fusion at different points of the spine. The sacroiliac joint's involved in one as compared to the other, and again we'll see high levels of inflammation in blood tests and x-ray changes. And so it's important to know the difference between just not only the different types of arthritis, but what types of pain you're having, what types of mobility issues are there if you have changes in your blood test. I mean, if you have elevated ESR or CRP, go to the chiropractor, so let's get an x-ray to uncover whether there's an inflammatory process that's coming from the spine as opposed to purely just being an organic biochemical process. So it's the combination of the signs and symptoms that you're experiencing, the function and the structural changes you're going through, and then when the x-rays and bloods tell us about what's taking place in the body that help us distinguish between the different types of arthritis you have, and therefore what we are going to do. And that's an imperative, because the reason we want to uncover what type of arthritis you have, what type of diagnosis is specific to you, because every arthritis will have a different treatment approach that is going to be more effective for it. So if somebody just says, oh, you've got arthritis, and you go, well, which type? I don't know, it's just arthritis, and try this, see what happens. I'd be walking out that door, because firstly, there are so many different types of arthritis that respond to different treatments, have different causes, and require different approaches. If they haven't identified and isolated which form of arthritis, there's the first red flag or problem that you should consider isn't being addressed. And then the second thing is, if they tell you that there's nothing that can be done about it, or just learn to live with it, then they are not an expert in arthritic or degenerative change, because there are things that can be done. But ultimately, as I said, you want to uncover all of the information you can about it through the x-ray, through the blood test, because then you have a definitive answer to what it is, and you avoid the let's try this and see what happens. Just think about those words for a moment. Try this and see what happens. That sounds like a guess. and if you do not have a clear and definitive diagnosis, it is a guess. And you want to avoid guessing with your health. You want to avoid trying things that you don't know whether they will or won't work, whether it's effective for you, for your form of arthritic or degenerative condition. You want to have clear answers, effective steps, and know that what you're doing is moving in the right direction of healing and repair. That is why it's important to cover all of these topics, uncover the truth about you, your presentation, your condition, and work with somebody that's going to answer those questions so that you can feel confident, certain, and safe that you're moving in the right direction of healing and repair, because you know what's happening. And so, leave your comments below if that resonates, if you've had that type of frustrating experience where somebody's tried this and that didn't work, and then this didn't work, and that didn't work, and it became frustrating, and you soon were disillusioned, and maybe have left this point of hopelessness that nothing can be done, but that's because I haven't uncovered the truth about what is happening to define what can be done. So, love to hear from you. Let us know if there's anything we can do to help. Claim your health today. Thank you.